Hello and welcome. If you're looking to build a career in clinical psychology, you've probably heard that Master of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology has been phased out, and in its place, we now have Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology, RCI-Regulated. This sudden change raises plenty of questions. Is MA weaker than M.Phil? Will I get the same practical training? In this session, we'll tackle these doubts head-on and clarify exactly what's happening. First, let's understand what M.Phil clinical psychology was. For decades, M.Phil was a core professional degree that trained students to become clinical psychologists, typically over 2 years, featuring theory, practical clinical training, case studies, and a thesis. In India, this degree held Rehabilitation Council of India, RCI recognition, essential for legal practice as a clinical psychologist. Then came NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, which mandated shutting down all M.Phil programs including M.Phil, clinical psychology. Many students were caught off guard. People often ask, why discontinue M.Phil when it worked so well? NEP 2020 aims to reshape the academic structure, encouraging 4-year undergraduate programs with direct entry into master's or PhD tracks. UGC recommended removing M.Phil altogether so research pathways would directly flow from master's to PhD. RCI had to align its syllabus with NEP 2020, resulting in the launch of the MA Clinical Psychology, RCI-Regulated program. This is where the biggest confusion starts. Can the new MA program truly replace the old M.Phil? Students assume M.Phil offered specialized, in-depth training, whereas MA sounds theoretical. Let's dispel that myth. Degree validity. The new MA Clinical Psychology course is RCI approved. Completing it qualifies you for RCI registration, legally allowing you to practice as a clinical psychologist just as M.Phil graduates did. Practical training. Under RCI guidelines, clinical exposure remains intact. Case workups, psychological assessments, therapy sessions, internships, community work, and supervised practicum. It's very similar to M.Phil, but with an updated program title, duration and structure. This is still a 2-year program, generally with foundational theory and practicals in the first year, and advanced clinical work plus a research thesis in the second year. Many students find relief knowing the rigor and timeline remain largely the same. Further clarification, the new MA requires a 4-year bachelor's degree in psychology, whereas M.Phil required a prior master's. So the path is reorganized, in line with NEP 2020, but the clinical intensity remains the same. Some people still say, M.Phil was a high-level professional degree but MA is just a master's. It's true the name says Master of Arts, but this isn't a general MA in psychology. It's specifically tailored toward clinical psychology and follows RCI's professional standards. The old M.Phil required a master's for eligibility, had very limited seats, and offered 2 years of intense clinical training. The new MA in Clinical Psychology, regulated by RCI, admits students after a 4-year bachelor's in psychology, includes 2 years of clinical training, follows the RCI syllabus with mandatory practical work, and offers direct registration eligibility upon completion. Hence, anyone who used to do M.Phil can now do the MA and still become a clinical psychologist, provided they register with RCI. It's natural to ask, isn't it a setback for students if M.Phil is discontinued? In reality, globally, most places follow a master's plus clinical training model. M.Phil was more of a historical structure in India. NEP 2020 aims for a simpler yet standard framework, letting students move directly from a 4-year undergraduate program into a clinically focused master's and then a PhD if desired. M.Phil had very limited seats, leaving many qualified students shut out. With the new MA, seats may expand, potentially offering more opportunities to more students. The key worry is, previously M.Phil grads easily joined hospitals, private practice, or government jobs. Will the same doors open for MA grads? RCI has clarified that the new MA program is legally recognized for licensing. Hospitals, mental health clinics, schools, corporate wellness, NGOs, government sectors all primarily require RCI registration. This degree also qualifies you for a PhD if you wish to pursue research or teaching. For private practice, the process remains the same. Finish MA, RCI, register and start your clinic. Now that MA is effectively the main option, here's what to look for when selecting a college or university RCI recognition. Ensure the institution is RCI approved. Check for sufficient clinical caseload, qualified faculty, and internship facilities. Course structure. Confirm it includes clinical assessment, psychotherapy, research, and fieldwork elements. Faculty expertise. Are there experienced clinical psychologists on staff? Do they specialize in areas like child psychology or neuropsychology? Infrastructure. Labs, testing materials, libraries, community outreach. These resources ensure strong, practical training. Entrance exam. Most places assign 70% weightage to a written exam and 30% to an interview or viva. Prepare thoroughly, competition is still tough. Students often feel bad that MPhil, a prestigious Indian course, was phased out. But in truth, RCI has retained all the best aspects of MPhil. Intense clinical training, thesis work, case studies, within the new MA structure. Depth of the program, unchanged in essence. Legal validity, just as mandatory as before. Job prospects, likely as strong if not stronger, given the growing demand for mental health services. If you're worried MA is just a standard master's program, remember that it's nothing like a general MA. RCI specifically designed it to build practical and clinical competencies. In conclusion, the confusion around MPhil versus MA mostly arises from the change in name, but effectively the new MA Clinical Psychology, RCI-Regulated, replaces MPhil, while offering the same depth, provided you enroll in a recognized institute and register with RCI. Will your career prospects suffer? No. In fact, with seat expansion, more exposure, and alignment with NEP 2020, the field opens up to more people. Will the practical training be the same? Yes. RCI has explicitly required every MA program to include robust clinical and hands-on components. What do you need to do? Choose a solid RCI-approved institution. Prepare for the entrance exam. Complete the 2-year training. Register with RCI. Practice legally as a clinical psychologist in India. So don't cling to the old MPhil. Embrace the new MA Clinical Psychology. It's a fantastic opportunity, not a downgrade. If you found this helpful, please share the information. And if you still have questions, drop a comment. I'll try to address them all. Thank you, and best wishes on your journey into MA Clinical Psychology.